I guess it would be fair to say that politics doesn't understand religion, and politicians use it for leverage. They have been for a long time now, especially when it comes to the American political sphere. Now, the fact that there is a Catholic president in office is about as laughable as him being anything legitimate. Um, it's definitely one of those things where they use it as a platform, and it's an illegitimate platform. Politics doesn't understand religion because politics is ultimately nihilistic in any circumstance. The right went with Trump is the second coming of Christ, and a lot of evangelicals got behind that, and the left has gotten completely off the rails, and they are in secular town for what it looks like forever now. So, to me, that's outright, well, foolishness on both sides. The assumptions of both of those things are, or both of those paradigms, diasporas, dialectics, however you want to go about it, are not conducive to religious thought. And I'm speaking outside of morality because moral structures are based on religious context for the most part. But politics and morality, those are two things that definitely don't go hand in hand anymore. And when it comes to westernizing the pathology of it, or the pathos, the overall religious ethos doesn't really contextualize itself well. And I'm trying to stay I'm trying to stay as neutral as I possibly can to what might give way to a solution. Now, with politics, it's become wayward because of that fashionable nihilism that it's created. And with fashionable nihilism, I'm talking about identity politics. And identity politics exists in all realms. That's why memes are so easy to do. But when it comes to a religious context, it's a little bit harder to do. It's a little bit harder to meme, harder to get a message across, in a sense. And it's harder to personify it too. Whether it be Christian or other. Politics just doesn't understand that. They can't grip with it because they wrestle with it. They try to embody it, but that's another difficult task to do. That's a difficult task for any human to do. We are ideological beings. We are beings that believe, whether it be we don't believe or we do believe. A belief in nothing is still a belief in something, which is strange, but also pretty revelatory to what exactly our conscience and what we can imagine to be a very, very different point of view. And when politics doesn't understand religion, there is, well, a downstream of culture to it as well. And a downstream of culture could either thrive or suffer. Obviously, it depends on the religion. Obviously, it depends on the context of it, because there could be outright and overt degeneracy across the board, or a very conservative, temperative movement as well. Um, and it's really hard to categorize a lot of that, because a lot of that is anecdotal. Um, and a lot, or well, it's either anecdotal or, heavily on statistics. It relies heavily on statistics. There is a middle ground, but that middle ground is hard to walk to and have that kind of moderation if your only outlet is that political realm. If you only dwell in that, then there will be no end to the nihilistic emptiness in sight, which politics completely is aware of that and takes advantage of it. And that's why I say it doesn't understand religion. It doesn't understand a spiritual ethos at all. It can't contextualize it. And when religion gets going and there's a fervent or moderate, at least to moderate belief, then people start realizing the fallacy of their leaders. And to bring this full circle is that obviously somebody saying there's something and then going and doing the opposite, I know that it can complicate things. I know that it can complicate people's viewpoints. It can complicate a situation. It can make even one question their own beliefs, which, mind you, that is a powerful thing to do. It's a powerful thing to have, whether that be in politics or religion. But it's more important religiously than it is politically. That is if you believe. Now, outside of politics can be religion or spirituality. And for somebody to dwell on that, that's important. That leads to people being more aware of what's going on, more keen of their own spirituality, and better for others to realize that as well. So it's important to contextualize both. But when it comes to flat out understandings and misunderstandings, and this is why people say that you never should discuss politics or religion in polite company, or these being important factors, they have now gone to the point where you can rant about it and say nasty things on social media. But for those that are too cowardly to conduct themselves appropriately in polite company are the ones that are usually going off the handle about it the most. And is that a cause for a deeper issue? You can blame, all the other surface issues all you want, but that says something to somebody's spirit. And there are many verses biblically that the spirit cries out. whether it be through the soul or the blood. That is one of those things where that spirit cries out. And when the spirit cries out, if it cries out to something politically, it's not going to go anywhere. But if it cries out to something religiously or spiritually, then there's a lot more to that.